Today. Today we have the Bible story about David and Mephibosheth. So you know who these people are. David, who later became king of Israel. He was a shepherd, and then he battled Goliath, and later on he became king. Well, one of his good friends was Jonathan, and Jonathan was one of the sons of King Saul, the king of Israel. So we have King Saul and Jonathan, and then Mephibosheth, who was one of Jonathan's children. And Jonathan, unfortunately, was killed. So this is the story how David found Mephibosheth. So, I'm reading from the Bible, 2 Samuel chapter 9, verses 1 through 13. So, David is trying to find him. David asked, "Is there anyone still left of the house of Saul to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake?" Now there was a servant of Saul's household named Ziba. They called him to appear before David, and the king said to him, "Are you Ziba?" "Your servant," he replied. The king asked, "Is there no one still left of the house of Saul to whom I can show God's kindness?" Ziba answered the king, and this was King David when he became king. "There's still a son of Jonathan. He's crippled in both feet." "Where is he?" the king asked. Ziba answered, "He's at the house of Machir, son of Ammiel, in Lo-debar." So King David had him brought from Lo-debar, from the house of Machir, son of Ammiel. When Mephibosheth, son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, came to David, he bowed down to pay him honor. David said, "Mephibosheth." "Your servant," he replied. "Don't be afraid," David said to him. "I will surely show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will restore to you all the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul. You will always eat at my table." Mephibosheth bowed down and said, "What is your servant that you should notice a dead dog like me?" Then the king summoned Ziba, Saul's servant, and said to him, "I've given your master's grandson everything that belonged to Saul and his family. You and your sons and your servants are to farm the land for him and bring in the crops, so your master's grandson may be provided for. And Mephibosheth, grandson of your master, will always eat at my table." Now Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. Then Ziba said to the king, "Your servant will do whatever my lord the king commands his servant to do." So Mephibosheth ate at David's table like one of the king's sons. Mephibosheth had a young son named Micah, And all the members of Ziba's household were servants of Mephibosheth. And Mephibosheth lived in Jerusalem because he always ate at the king's table, and he was crippled in both feet. So, and that's a good story for accepting people when they have some kind of a disability or some difficulty in their lives, that here King David accepted him. So, our Bible verse is from 1 Corinthians 12, chapter 4. There are different spiritual gifts, but the same Spirit. And I hope that you find a way to use your gift. And our faith word is belong. To know you're accepted and included in God's family. So this is a great story for accepting people. So, when have you felt welcome in a place where you didn't expect it? Were you at a neighbor's house? In a new class? Do you remember the first time you went to a new place? So what happened that made you feel welcome? Did they smile and talk to you? Did they ask you to join? How did you respond to the person who made you feel like you belonged? I bet you wanted them for a friend. So that's what we try to do at church. When new people come or we invite a friend, we make them feel like they belong. We talk to them and smile at them and ask them to join us. So those are some of the things, and I'm sure you can think of more. So in our Wonder Box today, there's a placemat. Because sometimes when you have company at your house, you use placemats, or maybe when you go to a restaurant, that makes people feel welcome, like they wanted you to come, because here's a place for you. So, do you know people don't have to be related to feel like family? People can be family friends. Maybe you've heard people say, oh, they're a family friend. That means they're treated like family even though they aren't actually in your family. And sometimes people call them chosen family, and that sounds special, that they chose you to be part of their family. So almost anyone can be part of a chosen family. So David showed compassion toward Mephibosheth. Compassion is one of the spiritual gifts, a gift for serving God. It means being moved to help someone. So I wonder, how can we show more compassion? Showing compassion is one way we serve God, by serving others. So here's the prayer to close. God, thank you for teaching us to have compassion for others. Thank you for compassion others have shown us. Keep our hearts open to show others compassion. Amen.